Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel, and in this video, I have a once in a lifetime opportunity to work with two YouTubers and also to unbox Blackmagic's newly launched Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, aka BMPCC4K. This is all thanks to Adrian, who invited us to join him for this shoot. So, without any further ado, let's get down to business. Alright, the two YouTubers that I worked with for this project are Carl and of course Adrian. Carl will be mainly covering the unboxing and his first impression on the camera, and Adrian most likely will be doing what he does best, which is showing us how the camera works and also his impression as a run and gun event videographer. So for me, I will not cover what they are going to do and just do a simple tech specs intro and few pointers that I felt as a Micro Four Thirds user and also as a solo YouTuber in mind. So, let's run through the specs real quick. The BMPCC4K comes with a slightly larger 8 megapixel Micro Four Thirds sensor, which has a 1.9 time crop factor and not a 2 time crop factor. It is capable of 13 stops of dynamic range, and it has dual native ISO of 400 and 3200. Comparing with the GH5S, which also have dual native ISO of 400 and 2500, I believe the BMPCC4K could stretch the ISO further up the range, which in turns could capture a better low light performance. To know more of the low light performance, do check Adrian's video out, link in the description. It has a resolution range from 1080 at 120 fps to UHD 4K and DCI 4K at 60 fps. It comes with 2 card slot, I repeat, 2 card slot, 1 UHS 2 slot and 1 CFast card slot. It also has a USB-C port for external drive recording. Bear in mind the cost of a CFast card is not cheap due to its fast write speed. It could record loads of RAW codecs, but I believe the most popular one would be the ProRes. It uses the very common LPE6 battery, which is good, but somehow or other, the BMPCC4K chews up the E6 pretty fast. There's no viewfinder on this camera, but it does come with a huge 5-inch touchscreen display. All buttons at the side and the top are well placed for easy access. And it even has a record button at the front for YouTubers or vloggers to easily press the record button when they are at the front of the camera. Cool, now that the specs are done, here are some pros and cons that I personally find as a Micro Four Thirds user. Let's start off with the pros. Since the BMPCC4K adopts the Micro Four Thirds mount and I'm using the G7, this means I can use my current lens, meaning I won't need to spend more money on lens. So, that's good news for current Micro Four Thirds users. With that, of course, you can couple a speed booster with a full frame lens so as to get the framing of your video close to a full frame crop, since the crop is only 1.9. Although this camera is mainly made of plastic, it still feels very rigid and it doesn't feel cheap at all. The only downside is, this is a pure videographer camera. The BMPCC4K allows you to record your video in RAW, so you could create a cinema-like video with special lights and color grading in your post-production. They offer a few RAW codecs, and as mentioned before, one of them are the all-time favorite, ProRes. Last but not the least, the design engineers at Blackmagic has cleverly placed all the necessary buttons at the back and top of the camera. Every little space is not wasted and it's all easily accessible at your fingertips. This greatly improves the efficiency of cinematographer during their shoots. Now for the cons. The most obvious issue for me as a Panasonic user is there's no flip-out screen. I know. Professional cinematographers usually have big external screens on their production rigs. But I'm not a professional, and I think I speak for a lot of vloggers and YouTubers out there that find a flip-out screen an essential features to have. What puzzles me the most is, there's this record button at the front of the camera which clearly is catered for vloggers, but why didn't they think of including a flip-out screen? I have no answer for that. Maybe you guys could pen it down your thoughts below and we'll discuss further. Next is the battery life. During its first release at NAB 2018, a lot of YouTubers mentioned that the battery that BMPCC4K has is a huge upgrade from their previous version. But still, it only lasts for approximately 1 hour. If you're a serious professional, I think you would have to carry a crate of batteries out for a day shoot. And finally, the sensor only has 8 megapixels on it. I think it's not a big deal for a videographer and it actually are good for low light performance. But for me, being a landscape photographer, 8 megapixels just can't cut it. To take nice crispy landscape photograph, I need at least 16 megapixels. That's just me. Coming back to the intent of this camera, it is still a cinematography camera and not an actual photography camera. 8 megapixels is more than enough to capture a still picture just to make sure the correct framing that the producer wants. He won't be keeping any stills anyway. Well, that's about wrapped up on my view as a Micro Four Thirds user on this new Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Both Carl and Adrian have, I guess, uploaded their videos by the time this video is out. So please go to their video for their impression on this new BMPCC4K. I'll leave the link below. As always, thanks for watching and your continued support. Please hit the like button if you like this video, comment if you have any, and do consider subscribing if you haven't done so. Also, do follow me on my social pages, the links are in the description below. You have a good day, cheers, thanks, bye.